ready to start to shoot, and Don put the no-go gauge in. It didn't close, and then we came back up. Tim Harmson from Military Arms Channels here. We did it again. It closed on the first gun, and so we don't have a field gauge, but it closed on a no-go. Now what we think is happening is that the barrel, is it moving?
It is moving.
The barrel has moved, I don't know, a millimeter, I don't know.
I mean, I know how it's
Like,
possible.
moved a hair, but it's moving inside, and so that's changing the headspace. So we're obviously not going to shoot that rifle for this test. So we'll shoot the control rifle, which we have already measured the gap on with the no-go gauge in it, and then we'll measure it at the end to see what what might have changed in that. So not off to a solid start here.
No, they couldn't have done that.
I don't know what's going on.
Maybe somebody drilled it twice. Maybe it didn't pass headspace. They drilled it twice. I've seen that.
I'm curious as if how loose.
I guess we're not going to get our sound check then.
Yeah. And this is proof that they don't send me special rifles that are like handmade by somebody or something. What's up?
We're going to see if we can knock that barrel pin out.
Yeah. I'm going to grab a punch and hammer.
Here. Let's just bring the
But sure shit, that barrel's moving a thou.
Yeah.
Couple thou.
So, Tim, what do you think's happening?
Oh, so, all right. So, just getting ready to set the test up, and what we were doing is just going through making sure that both the firearms here passed a no-go gauge, no-go gauge. And one rifle's been fired, one has not. The one that has been fired, we put the no-go gauge in, and it closed on the no-go gauge, which means it shouldn't be shot. Don't have a field gauge here. And so then we actually took the rifle and banged it on a rock, and we can actually see a small line that's about a thou, maybe a couple thou, appearing on the top of the barrel here. The barrel's setting back into the trunnion, and so when we do that, we can get it to pass the no-go test. But as soon as we bang the bolt home, it pushes that barrel forward again, and so there's something wrong with the assembly.
That should not be possible.
Right.
It should not be like there would have to be, for it to happen, broken pins coming out or something like that. So because when the barrel's mashed into the trunnion, then the holes are drilled. So like it's not like lined up or something like that.
It shouldn't be.
Right. And then the rivets are mashed in, and so I don't know what's going on, and I don't know.
So we're going to see if we can drive this barrel pin out with just a punch and a hammer, but we definitely can't shoot that rifle safely.
Yeah, right. So what we will do is we will continue with the test with the gun we weren't going to shoot that does pass the no-go test.
So
and
weapon's clear. So I'm taking no-go. We're not doing this exactly right, but I'm going to go ahead and try to pound it home. You can see that the bolt carrier doesn't go home. We've measured this distance and documented it, so we know exactly what the headspace is currently. So if this tightens, it means it's going out of spec and moving towards what that one currently is. And if that starts to happen, I would suggest stop shooting the gun.
Yep.
So, ready?
No.
All right, ready? It should go that way.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm screwing your
No,
table
go
up,
ahead,
James.
go ahead. You've already fucked the table.
I'm gonna mortar it. There we go. All right. I broke a Magpul stock doing that once. Didn't make many friends at Magpul. All right, so that's kind of where we're at, guys.
Let's not mix these up.
No, it's not. So we're kind of starting off
On a bad foot.
on a bad note, but we do have one rifle that's in headspace, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and like, so people have said in the past that they send me special rifles and stuff like that. So this obviously proves that they don't. And I said from the beginning, we're going to do this. I invited Tim because like he will fucking call me out if I try to fucking hide something or bullshit.
That's
no.
3 bleeps.
Wow.
That's all right.
Oh, sorry. Sorry. I forgot what channel I was on. I thought I was on my channel. I'm sorry.
That's all right.
And so, but he's here because he will call me out. James, that's not right. And so hopefully this will add some validity to either the fact that this rifle works, doesn't work, or that I'm a liar or I'm not a liar.
No, you've been completely honest. And so we have one, and just so you guys know, you can see the markings. Here's the gun that is out of spec. You can see the markings on it, VSKA. Okay, so this is the new rifle. I went to the Century website, and they no longer list the RAS-47. So
I was on it like this week.
I was just on the phone with Rob Ski on our way down, and he went through and confirmed he can't find it on there. The C39's a bunch of different versions. This is the new AKM, I believe, for Century.
I didn't know.
I mean, we just confirmed. I mean, I was on the phone with Rob, and he's like, "No, Tim, I'm looking right now, man, and that's the only one listed." So I think this is their only AKM product. Could be wrong, but if that's the case, Rob, I just bust you out, buddy. I'm sorry.
You
But
gonna
anyway.
bleep that out?
Nope. All right. Well, I mean, like I said, we're not starting off on a very good note, but hopefully this rifle can make it 5,000 rounds. And we're trying to figure out who manufactured this stuff. Made in Russia, but it doesn't say which factory.
And I've got two different ones here.
Oh man, eyes.
I've got FMJ and
But what we have, guys, are this is a RS. This is Red Army Standard ammunition. It's 123 grain. 124 grain.
is
Hollow point.
Okay, this hollow point is internally scored.
That's like supposed to be that new, really cool bullet, right?
Right.
I don't know how well that feeds. I've run into feeding issues with hollow points.
I asked that same question, and they said some of the testing they've done with this rifle, about half the ammo was with this.
Okay.
But when I saw hollow point, oh, well, that's what
Right.
we need. Is because
It's four.
sorry,
Keep going.
I'll give you a buck apiece. I'll give you.
I would be rich by the time I leave here.
But we've had tons of people, various makes of AKs that the hollow points just
yeah.
didn't work in.
Yeah.
And so when I saw them, I went, oh man, that's what we need.
Right.
You know, but they said, I asked specifically about that, and they said it went.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, I think next time you see us, we're going to be shooting the gun. Not guns, gun. It went from plural to singular.
No, it was always going to be singular.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
We were just going to
Oh.
shoot the one that had been shot before.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, we got a brand new gun.
All right.
There we go.
I should put some lube on it.
I have a
That's what
question.
she
though.
says.
There's a couple of different specs for headspace gauges. If I remember correctly, there's ANSI and Salmon. What we don't know is what chamber they cut it with, and did they make a new chamber for some mil-spec gun, since everything is new and it's built to a military
They
specification.
didn't tell
So-
me anything about it.
Yeah. These are standard, brown L's?
Yeah, climber.
So I will tell you right now, everybody that I know in the industry
Uses those.
uses these.
But that's
And
that's
I
the
cannot
reason
imagine them
I
changing a
asked.
chamber spec so much that a no-go gauge would actually
I don't know,
get
but
swallowed by a chamber.
one of the things that it kind of, I remember back from way back in the day when we started welding these things back together when the parts kits came in, like there was a difference in the headspace gauges, like what spec it was. And now it's been so long, I don't remember.
Yeah, all I know is when I measure guns, I use the brown L's, and if they swallow a field gauge, they are hand grenades. They are
yes.
stretching, and you
No,
can
I get
visibly
you.
see them going out of headspace.
Yeah, because you could totally get that space in between there where you get that case burst. And
So-
that's bullshit. I'm really confused by that.
Keep our parts together.
Hey guys, my magazine loading friends and helpers.
I'm gonna.
Okay.
This is let's not confuse the parts. This goes to the other guy. Okay. Let's get this
All right,
out here.
so. Okay, guys. Hey.
Right now.
Hey. Okay. It's like, there's two different things going on, and if you're going to help me here, I don't want to open more than one carton of ammo at a time. So for this first batch, we're going to open these, and not these. And I got a trash bag down there for them. And so after every 1,000, we're going to measure the gun and stuff like that. So when we take a break to measure the gun, we can crack open the next box and start loading. But don't, and they'll just get reused, like so. That's what's up. So I brought this you can dump the ammo into, and guys can stand around and load it. So please, kind sirs, if you would help out with that.
Hey, James. James. That barrel right out.
Get you some, son.
What I would like is you have a mag, and like there'd be two shooting positions here, like a guy shoot, and I want you to just shoot the steel targets, and then hand it to the guy next to you, and then another guy fill in here, the next shooter, and just keep handing the rifle, every mag handed it to another shooter, back and forth until that 1000's up. And so I don't want to just waste ammo. I mean, we've done this before and wasted ammo. Might as well get something out of it. So hit the targets.
Berm's a pretty easy target. So.
Yeah, but seriously, guys, I really appreciate your help on this. It's a big deal.
I'm gonna slide these down.
Malfunction that I experienced with this gun. I'm the third person to have that malfunction. Yep. Would you like to see that? That sounds like an ejector thing, but if it's pumping up by the barrel system forward, now it's engaging the ejector at the wrong time.
Yeah.
What if it's combination of two things, whereas you got right. So you guys just do
Right here. Empty. Yeah, 1,000 pounds, so we're not going to waste the break.
So then you start so you could actually move your how far you can
Well, we got a rough estimate. We'll find out. 2,500. Let's see if it moves at all. And it's past that pin too.
like I've literally tried to take apart AK-47. You can't do that with a hand.
No.
You're not supposed to be able. It's not, like when it's that easy, you're supposed to knurl it and try again or go larger.
I would go larger.
Yeah.
Press
No,
larger
me
pin
too.
in. Yeah.
I'm gonna go ahead and throw these parts over there so there's no. Do you want me to throw some lube on here, James?
It doesn't have any.
All right, I should do it.
Might as well keep it handy too, Don.
Yes, you think every time we tear it down, we should re-lube it?
Got the gauges here in my back
I
pocket.
think every time we tear it down, we should re-lube it.
That's line up. We have 500 loaded.
Is that number 9 fully loaded? Which is, got one. That's top one's on the right.
Audio check, 1, 2, 3. Hey guys, welcome back. Hey guys, welcome back. Today is November 18th, Sunday, 2018. This will be the most informal Military Arms Channel video you've ever seen. We're down here at Tactical Response. We're down here at the desk of James Yeager and Tactical Response, and we have a VSKA 2 rifles out here. We're going to do a 5,000 round test. This is again going to be a very informal video. There's not going to be hardly any editing. We're going to have to cut the video and let the rifles stop.
They're all full of blood. See it.
Start off with that, and you're going to see that footage here in a moment, and we're just going to kind of go as things happen. So, again, this is going to be a very different video from what you're used to seeing here on the channel. This is going to be kind of as it happens. All right, so with that being said, let's see how this thing goes.
If you decide to do so.
Okay.
These fuckers are supposed to be lucky.
Oh, I never heard that before.
Ladybugs?
Talk about throwing a wrench in the works.
We were talking about Murphy yesterday.
Yeah, Murphy indeed.
Be interesting to hear what they have to say, what their response is.
Send it back. We'll send you another one.
I don't know. They won't be happy.
You're going to film your own video, right? So I'm just going to stand back. So let me.
You're welcome to do whatever you want.
Well, I'm just going to say that this is primarily your video. We're here just as observers, and
No,
so you're going to be doing a lot of the talking.
Okay, just so you know, no, you're not here as an observer. I invited you to come down here and stand right beside me.
Okay.
And anything we film, you're welcome to that footage as well.
Okay. Same here. Okay.
But I'll leave the cuss words in.
Go ahead. Please try, but yeah, it's family safe.
No, I get it. That's all right.
You know me when I'm not on camera.
No,
you know,
dude,
fuck this, fuck that. But
Oh, great. Now there's two more.
that'll blow 'em. You guys turned me onto that stuff.
Dude, I love it.
I love that stuff.
I use it on everything.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So,
Frank's red hot sauce.
just to kind of, hey Tim,
Yeah.
if I could get you over here. So we got here and started doing some like pre-shoot stuff, and put the no-go gauge in the we'll call it number 1 rifle. Close, failed the test. What we through some banging and beating and stuff like that, what we have determined is that the barrel is moving an M&M or so,
Yeah.
and a hair or two, and that's changing the headspace. That's the way the AKs are head spaced, is how far the barrel is pushed in. So we have that rifle, number 1 rifle, will not be used. And
One other little point though, we went ahead just because we noticed that barrel was moving back and forth, took it over there, put it on a plastic barrel, tapped it with a punch, and that barrel pin moved right out.
now you might be saying to yourself, well, that's how you move a barrel pin. It moved really easy.
You move a barrel pin with a press,
Right.
Not
Well,
a hammer.
I just want to make sure
Yeah.
they understand that. They understand that.
Yeah.
Like it was on a plastic barrel and he went tink and it moved. So
Yeah.
that's a no-go. I mean, even if the damn no-go gauge would have worked and I knew that, we'd have been out. So the plan was to keep one of the guns in reserve as a data point. That gun is now going to be the gun we shoot. And every 500 rounds, we're going to drop the no-go gauge in it to make sure it's okay. We have measured, and Tim's got that data, measured the gap now, and we will measure it every 500 rounds and determine if there's growth in the chamber. We're going to check the lugs and all the stuff that you guys would want checked and that we would want checked.
Yep.
What else?
I think that's pretty much it. So, only thing left now to do is start shooting those first 500 rounds.
All right, so here we go. Yeah, we're doing a video. No, we're doing a video. Come on up.
Anybody want to shoot?
Yeah, I need help, guys. I really don't want to shoot 5,000 rounds. Tim, do you want to do the first one?
Sure. First mag?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, we're not doing that.
There you go.
Okay, so our thing was we're not trying to overheat the rifle. We're just trying to shoot the rifle.
Okay.
No, it's fine. No, that's a good icebreaker right there. And so we got steel targets out here from Shoot Steel, and we're just gonna kind of do some shooting. And I don't care if people go fast, but we're just gonna. Who's next? Come on up.
The ejection is a little soft. Gotta hold low. Gotta come
Gotta hold low.
Gotta hold low. Come way down.
Whoever's next, stand beside me. Yeah, stand beside him. And then when Jay leaves, you take that spot. I want to stay. We gotta stay on the camera. We can't keep moving. Where are you holding, Jay?
At the bottom. At the very bottom. Sorry.
Yeah, so we didn't zero this beforehand, so we're just kind of trying to figure out where it's going. Kentucky windage. Go ahead, Don.
Getting hot.
About 300.
That's what she said.
I'm not talking about you, sister.
Hold at the bottom.
Whoa, that's
Hot.
hasn't been shot, has been shot. Okay.
the bottom edge of the target.
Follow the bottom edge.
There you go. Want it. It's hot.
Magazine.
Hey, back up. Back up 1 foot. So you'll be in the frame. There you go.
Magazine.
All right, hey, come up beside him. I want 2 people up here. Yep. Beside him. And then 2 more people. Yeah. Let me get like 2 lines. 2 lines. When you shoot, I need you to shoot him on the table so you're going to pull with the rifle out of his shot.
Oh yeah, those things are about to burn. That thing will be on fire soon. Remember, getting up into the round count where as possible, to just be mindful of that if you're standing there trying to acquire that sight picture.
Somebody step up there.
Get up next to me. Good. There's 2 lines for a reason. Yep. There's only 2 moving parts.
He moved over.
You moved over.
When he's done shooting, it's so easy. We will do this.
Oh my God!
Whether you like it or not. I don't have to shoot the I actually feel like I won the lottery here. Again, but almost got through the game. It didn't.
What's all the anger?
Do you not know that? What do you do? Get it loaded.
Mama?
So we don't need.
Hi, Mom. Bring the rifle up to your face, bro.
Every mag at one time and just hold those.
Yep.
This one we should do.
I had 18.
We're shooting.
Bring the rifle up to your face.
And also 18 up.
So keep your arm in and bring the gun up to your head, not your head down to the gun. It'll help you a lot.
Kim Jong Steel.
Times where I've been around other people and have it drop out.
You guys that are on the left side, you can walk across the front of the table down there. God damn it, numbers! Hey, here's another one.
Lower.
Lower. Lower. That's our,
Out on Kim Jong Steel.
that's yeah, you're shooting over the head.
Oh, well,
That's our model, aim low. You're shooting over the top. That was on the head.
I don't use it.
That was just to the left. You might have hit it.
Oh, you did it.
You hit it.
Yep, got
Don's banging Kim Jong Steel out there at about 250.
it. Yeah. Iron sights. Might have been a marine thing.
Hey, Don.
Yourself again?
That won't catch on fire no matter how hot you shoot. It'll just charge.
terrible. I wish it would.
We'll be blowing on it. Not hitting machine guns.
It is a survival class. We're starting fire through the again. Well, let's lay that headspace and went out. We've already lit the fire. Let's just see how so when he finishes that I don't want to melt the table.
Hey! I want you guys quit shooting the close one. You guys are supposed to be rifles. Shoot that red one in the back some too, Don. Dean.
All right.
Take your time.
All the way out there, 200. All the way.
Hey, Kim Jong Steel, the hold is his feet.
Is what?
His feet, his right foot. Kim Jong Steel, right foot. The black thing right here, the red one, right
All the way out to the right.
Kim Jong Steel in
The
the corner.
hold is
Aim-
his
aim at
right
the-
foot.
All the way in the corner. The red one? Yeah. Yeah. Aim at his
His
feet.
left foot, the right side of the target as we're looking. His left right side.
No.
No,
The red one.
all the way on the hill.
Back in the corner.
North
Just
Korea.
low.
Aim for North Korea.
The right side, bottom of the right there.
Get it?
You got it, man.
Yep, right there. Just off the right side.
That doesn't help.
You're about to finish.
Okay, you shot it. Do something else. I'm going to go back that close target down. Okay, so this is 570 rounds, 19 mags. And so now we're going to do the testing and all that stuff and see what happens. And so far the gun is operating and shooting, but we're going to see what happens. What's happening inside the guts of it. It's super hot, as you can see from that that mirage coming off of it. Stock's getting loose. Yeah. Wow. Yeah, the stock is loose. That's not a new problem though. Those wooden stocks.
No, but there's no signs of cracks, right? So that's one thing you wouldn't look for is a crack. I don't see any cracks.
All right. so we don't burn the table, we're going to use this. We're going to use this chute steel as a chute table.
Break it down, let it cool off, broken down, or you just want to let it cool
Whatever
off?
you want to do. I don't want to be here all night.
Nice, live round in there.
Yep. I'm not touching it.
At least we kept it pointed down range. All right, we'll let her cool. All right.
You're here to shoot.
It was a dud.
Generally they run a shit.
But at least he yanked the trigger really hard. Phil. I know, we can pour some water on it. Yeah.
Let's retemper this too.
I actually said we could dunk that thing.
Do we have a rag we can use to wipe off some of the carbon?
Okay, I don't know what's going on right now. But there's 19 mags, so
Just gonna take a look and see if we're seeing any signs.
Yeah, it doesn't look like there's any deformation or odd wear. It doesn't look like the bolt is hammering back, overpowering the spring and starting to beat the trunnion. I know in some of the older AKs you end up getting deformation at the back of the stem on the bolt. Actually to the point where you couldn't remove it from the bolt carrier anymore. But this one doesn't look like it's doing it.
Some of those are pulled out.
It's still, it is
Little
taking impact
deformation.
from the hammer.
Yeah, little deformation.
So
We're
we're,
500 rounds in, right?
yep, 500 and some, but we really need to pay attention back here too, because that's where that stem a lot of times will end up hammering us back here at that rear trunnion.
I thought you said hold. It looks like there's a little bit of deformation happening in the carrier tail. Not bad.
Yeah, that's it, making it.
Take them and put them in my truck.
Probably hitting that thimble right there.
Do we have a rag? We can.
Yep, give me a minute.
I mean, we put some more Battleborn on it, I guess, if you want. I just want to wipe it off and take a look at the type of wear on the lugs.
I mean, I typically expect to see a little bit of wear on just the color, discoloration, but we shouldn't be seeing any kind of movement of metal, especially burring or anything like that.
There's pretty heavy peening right there.
Yep, that sure does look like a little bit.
So you got some heavy peening right about there underneath my thumb. 500 rounds. You got normal wear from what I can tell right there. That's finished wear. But I am a little concerned about the edge and that peening right.
Yeah, I saw that same one because it does look like there's a little bit of an edge forming right there.
Yep, right there.
Yep.
See if we can get a close-up picture of that.
Say, take some close-ups.
Yeah, I can see the sun in there. Yeah. Don't know what that means, but
I'm trying to figure out where it's making contact as well. Is it somewhere up in?
woo!
Yeah, careful. That's still a little.
So that is
The right side. I'm sorry, left side.
so. See if we can take a look at these lugs. It's gonna be hot for a while, James.
Yeah, I know.
So it's the part that actually locks into the camming mechanism. So it's somewhere inside the bolt carrier. It's hammering too far forward, maybe. See that right there?
Yeah. So it's starting to push up that shoulder. We've seen that before. Starting to push that shoulder up, and it's also deforming.
It looks like
that
it's actually
lug.
thinning up a little bit here too. If you take a look, notice how like this outside edge kind of looks like it's deviated just a tad bit.
Let me see if I can put a glove on here so I don't burn.
See how it's not a straight line anymore? It kind of looks like it's making a curve.
Turn it towards the camera. I don't know if you can see that, guys. Right here, starting to push that surface up, and it's also starting to. It's peening that lug that engages right there. So, I mean, if it continues,
Could get excited.
it could peen a little bit and stop, right? So, we'll see what happens.
I'll get it wiped down and re-lubricated.
Looks like we're seeing primarily, see if you'd agree with me, we're seeing primarily lug engagement on the right side, not so much on the left side.
I would say that looks correct because we're definitely getting wear on it.
Not, I mean, normal wear. What is that line extending from the top of the lug? What is that line?
See it. Let me see if I can get flashlight out. I'm going to do it with the flashlight. Here you go. I want to find mine.
This ain't yours. Motherfucker.
Okay.
This is a prototype. Yach!
It's the prototype.
I don't know. Did you design Surefire's most popular flashlight in the last 5 years? No. Because I did. Yeah.
Did you design this one?
No, the Tactician.
That's going to be the most popular.
I still got a prototype.
See, guys. Okay, I admit it. That just looks like a line, like a drag line. That isn't.
Yeah, I couldn't really tell what it was from over here. That's why I just said
Hey, Tim, if you need it.
Some kind of line.
So from now on, it's not Nate.
It's just a line. It's not a crack.
Gun surgeons over here.
What's that?
Gun surgeons.
I'm along for the ride here.
Again, guys, what we're seeing is primary engagement with this lug over here. This lug on this side, we're not seeing hardly any engagement or wear on. That's the first time I ever did that on camera.
That's what she said.
Yeah, I know, right? All right.
You're gonna have to, if you really want any detailed stuff, you're gonna have to clean it up.
Yep, and I get pictures. I mean, there's really, there's nothing I can see in here that's really bad. There's nothing going on except finish wear. I can see.
All right, guys, grab a mag and line up.
First two people shoot 18 and 19.
First two people shoot those two. Come on.
Yep.
Nobody's grabbing them.
18 and 19.
18 and 19 go first.
I got 7. Oh, you're bitching out. You won't be first on camera.
I'll do it. That was weird. 18 go. 18 and 19, come up here.
Flashlight? That's mine. Here? Okay.
Hey guys, come up here. You guys started getting towards the end. Come on, step forward. I want two shooting positions right here so you stay on the camera. You guys are kind of backing up. When you're finished, walk across from the table. When you're finished, walk that way. You don't have to knock the line out of the sink here.
What's up, Don?
Yeah, I know, right? Yes, I did. Well, no, I mean, not the direct cable, but I got the chargers.
I can go throw a battery on the charger in the car. Swap.
No, just one.
That was a risk to that.
Oh, you didn't see, yeah.
So, this one goes around. That's my control. 500. I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. You're good.
Hold on top.
Lean forward, Jesus Christ, skinny Jesus. Lean forward. What the hell's wrong with you? That gun's pushing you around. God damn it.
Little nose over toes action.
No, come here.
Furthest one's out. That's
Put your hands out like you're shooting a pistol.
Hold on the left side.
I just let it go.
I mean, so
way when you come.
Yep. And if it didn't start manifesting in
Back up.
any kind of like
Back up.
malfunction,
Back up some more.
I had 2,000 rounds.
You know what I'm really curious?
But every time they put
Come down some more. Impact. Stay right there. Stay right there. Stay right there.
okay, just get that little bullshit. Well, they haven't said it is. Brian, you want to get that out.
Good job.
And my helper just loses. Come down. Hold bottom right.
It's really odd.
Hold bottom right. Hold bottom right corner. Come down. Way down.
Oh, probably not.
Guys, when you are done shooting, walk across the front of the table. Disregard this.
Come down. Hold it to bottom. Stay right there. Stay there. No.
I'm like, so I have ADHD really bad. So I'm like, look, squirrel. So it's.
So 18, 19 is gone.
Hit. 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 Hit.
Hey guys, I got a case of water up there on the tables and some monsters if you guys need anything.
Thank you. All the way out 200.
Which one's that one?
Black one.
Oh, okay.
All the way out. Black one. Hold at the bottom. Come straight down.
Lower.
Come straight down.
Up a
Stay
little. right there.
Stay right there. Yep, stay there. Yep, stay there.
Hit.
They know exactly how much pressure. If they use too hard, they stop. I don't think they're doing that. There's no way that would have made it out into a box.
Lower.
Yeah, we're not talking about
Hit. Hit.
Yep, stay right there. Come down. Stronger. Stay there. And now it's even.
whip spring.
Impact. It's hitting Jason. Impact.
Yeah, they were just falling over here. I wonder if that's just it breaking the springs and heat changes something. I don't know. I'm just bringing it in.
I don't know either, man. I'm not an engineer. I'm a turkey mover. I'm just left. Come down.
We talked a lot on
Impact.
Step up next to him. Get ready.
Impact. Impact. Everybody's kind of
Ah!
I don't know how many times I really got to say it. Hey guys, I want two lines up here. I don't want you guys moving backwards. And if you when that guy leaves, he should walk that way. You should step into his footprint. When that guy leaves, you should step into his footprint.
Come down. Hold at the bottom. Hold bottom left. Hold at the bottom.
but I never did it inside. I got the 8530 and 8532 secondary MLS. Primary marksmanship instructor.
Come down, hold at the bottom. Come down. Hold at the bottom.
Josh, hold low.
Come down. Right there.
And I had the biggest piece of shit M16 ever.
You got a rock again. Yep.
How many times I gotta yell about keeping the goddamn ejection port toward the ground? Like really? How many times I gotta fucking say it? Ejection port toward the ground.
Yeah, no.
I don't know which one. Hey, shoot something else, jackass.
Cool, man. I appreciate it. I'll find an optic for it. I'm sure I got a video. I know of 20-inch. Yeah. Just a regular rim.
It's just begging to get hit.
Not like that big. It doesn't. I just need honey barrels aren't fluid, are they? No.
Shooting high. Shooting left. Shooting left and high. You might hit one of them. Woo-hoo.
See, somebody else is doing. Somebody has ammo. I don't have to clean the gun.
Hold 2 feet lower.
Hey guys, in case you haven't figured it out, this thing shoots high. So if you're aiming higher than the target, you've
That's
already
it.
been wrong.
That was top of the berm.
Start and then go lower. Anybody can shoot from the side floor. Learn something from this, right? You know, learn. I shoot offsets and stuff.
VSKA. That's it. Disco.
I'm doing finesse.
Yeah, I got it.
The best part is somebody else is doing somebody else's ammo and I have to clean it.
It's a good day at the range.
I know, right?
Shoot that mag in your back pocket?
Those are the two we're keeping empty.
At the bottom of everything.
Please, I don't want the responsibility.
Crash through the bottom. While they're holding up.
Lower.
Yeah, don't let your ear probe. It might piss off the internet.
Well, he's not holding the gun tight, so it's bouncing a lot. Right? Thank you, sir. Okay, guys, for just a second, hold it. Okay, so we're at 1,000 rounds now, and at 500, we neglected to do the no-go gauge on here. And so we're gonna take it apart and do that now, do the measurements and stuff like that. We forgot to at 500, that wasn't on purpose. And
I think that may have been my fault because I had them in my back pocket.
yeah, he's like, I'm gonna put these here for safekeeping. But that's what we're gonna do now. You want to do anything here? Or?
Yeah, I mean we can just do it right in front. I just got to find the right one. No go.
No leather.
It's just like trying.
Throw that in there so it doesn't get lost. Go ahead and pop top cover. Sure.
Oh, goddamn.
Yeah.
Well, if we're gonna do it, let's do it in front of my camera too.
Yeah.
Why am I doing this?
Make
Where's
sure that's-
Don?
make sure that sucker's
I'm
in.
totally. Go ahead. I'm totally unqualified for this.
Last time after that live round popped out there. All right. No go gauge in. All right. It looks to be.
He's we'll have a brief intermission while Tim finds his calipers.
Let's just see how close we are. It doesn't have to be precise, but I would say it's only just maybe a few thousandths difference. So
Okay.
we're still good. All right.
So Don is going to put some more breakthrough clean on it, some breakthrough clean grease, and Tim uses
take a
that
look at
stuff too. And but we find it does really well with the hotness of the heatness.
Surfaces.
What do you think, Don?
So it looks like this has only gone so far. And it's just staying right where it was before. We don't have any more additional peening. Yep, it looks about the same.
So we got some peening initially here and here, and it looks like maybe it's stopped. Let's push that shoulder up pretty good. I mean, there's a ledge there, but here we haven't seen too much.
Can we say that to my camera too?
Yeah, let's go over here real quick.
Okay, so here's an update on some peening they saw last time.
So we were seeing this edge pushed up a little bit, but not much. It seems to have stopped. And then the other edge over here that acts upon it.
Hey, Don.
Side.
Here we go. I keep flipping it. Here we go.
That's right.
Continue.
Hey, there.
Hey,
Right,
Don.
flip. There you go.
There it is.
Don.
Yep. All right, I got you.
So where it impacts right here, we were seeing a little bit of the material pushing back and peening on the bolt itself, but that seems to have stopped. So it's reached a certain point and stopped. Take a look at the carrier tail.
It's
And
exactly the same as the last time. It's got just that little bit of denting on the bottom of it, but it's not overly deformed.
so it still moves freely.
Still goes in and outside. You can
Still
still
moves
put the
freely.
stem inside the bolt.
So we're seeing some deformation there, rolling down. But again, guys, it's
It's got
still
a little bit more impact on the tab on the back, though.
yes. There's more impact wear there.
So
All
like
right.
we were talking about earlier with the ejection starting to eject further, that would give us further, information saying that the springs are probably starting to settle in because now it's able to come all the way back and smack into the rear trunnion a little bit.
So it's getting a little beat up on the rear end there, where it's whacking that rear trunnion. But yeah, when we started off, we were seeing very weak ejection, and now it's heaving them like it should.
All right.
All right, let's go ahead, lube it up, I guess, and be careful, it's hot.
Sir.
I got the no-go gauge.
Okay, so basically, just to kind of recap, at 500 we forgot to do the no-go. We've just done it.
At the 500, there was some peening. That peening on a couple of spots doesn't seem to have gotten worse, but on the back of the carrier, it is a little bit worse. Nothing scary or anything like that going on. And so we're gonna
There's one more thing
put some more breakthrough clean grease on it, and we're gonna do another 500 rounds and go through the process
on the
again.
other gun that we were talking about, that barrel pin.
Yeah.
That barrel pin, when we initially checked it, was recessed a lot more.
It was.
So this one is now also got a little bit of a lip there, and it is a tad bit extended. I don't know if it was like that before.
I don't either.
But we should start taking a look at that.
So on the other gun that we know the barrel was loose in, this pin was loose in, we noticed that the pin had drifted slightly on the gun that had 1,000 rounds through it. This one looks like it's set in a little bit, and this edge is starting to pop out a little bit, like that pin may be drifting a little bit, but we don't know where we started on that one, so we'll watch it. And we'll hit it when we're done with 5,000 rounds. We'll just tap it with a punch and see what happens.
I really appreciate you guys helping. I really do.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I would not want to do that 5,000 times. Like some of you guys are getting tired about like number 15 or something. Like imagine
Everybody's
5,000.
moving so fast and just looking them.
Hey, free ammo, free gun, and now they clean it.
Take some pictures of it at the end. Yeah. I mean, right now it's kind of normal.
If somebody's got an AK sight tool, the next time we break it down, you want to put your heat-resistant gloves on and try to put another turn on that sight. We got 4,000 more rounds to experiment.
Oh yeah, only.
Jason taught me this.
What does that do?
Cools the damn thing down.
Well, if you hold it by the other side and put a mag in it, you can charge it that way.
Jason taught me this, and it actually works.
Do that in the Russian
At least he
circus.
convinced me of it. Other than that, it just makes me look like a complete idiot standing out in the field swinging an AK, but it's
So
stopped.
this is Tim looking like a complete idiot.
I thought he was gonna do horseshoes.
I want to do the windmill. He's like, I want to windmill this motherfucker.
Lawn darts.
Hey, what's that thing they throw in the? I thought it was like Russian cornhole.
I remember when cornhole meant something different than the game that you played.
But you gotta think about it, right? That you take on your steak or burger or whatever, you take the hot piece and you blow on the son of a bitch. It like a windmill, you're taking the air and
We do it with
Another round.
suppressors, and it seems to cool them off
I
faster.
just eat my steak.
you just cram it in there, hot as hell or whatever.
Yeah,
Then when you burn your taste buds off, it's just
I got plenty of taste. My wife will do it.
Cool a little longer, or
Nah,
let it go? Ready to go? All right. I'm surprised that wood's holding up.
these guys got shit to do. All right, line up 2 lines.
Eyes and ears.
Rangers hot!
I can load my own. That thing's hot. I don't want to stand.
these need to get shot? Everybody's got one.
gap between the bottom of the target and your front sight. Think 6 inches, and then you'll hit the target down there. That's the green one, that white one, red one over there, and those two over there. So use that as your gauge, and obviously the farther away, the lower you gotta go, right? Yeah. I was gonna say those closest one, the green one, that green one, the sight post has gotta be below the bottom of the target, 6 inches.
You gotta hold it. It's hard to cross holes.
Yeah. Yeah, daylight's in. Or is it? No. Head on down the road. Appreciate the weekend. Oh, okay. Same this tape's close, so I'm glad.
Push it all the way down.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I really enjoyed the
Hold at the bottom.
well, but the lens wears out.
Same target. Hold at the bottom. Well, the plan is to talk about people know when you never talk to them. Whenever you're talking to them, you're in there shooting.
Yeah, he's got a 4-year-old, right? 4 gonna be 4.
He'll be almost 3, and then I got 7. My wife's going nuts. I told you to. Yeah. Like Jack Carr, like, how'd you get so high?
Yeah.
IndyCar racing was real big for my dad.
Don't you do
How
it.
many ways can you kill me with this?
Still doing it.
A whole bunch of kids. Kids were earlier. Maybe it becomes like an It was a little cold at night. I don't know like if that would work real well, but
Yeah.
they got a good breeze.
Down. Hold at the bottom. Hold at the bottom.
I'm
Hold
afraid
at the
to wear
bottom.
that. I gotta get
In Barrett's hand, area effect weapon. He has a cone of fire. Everything inside that cone of fire is in trouble. Everything outside of it,
You're behind them, you're good.
maybe. What do I do? What the fuck was that? Oh, that's Barrett.
Hey, you guys are representing my company. Don't act like monkeys up there.
That was when
Walker
ramped up.
Like throwing.
What? You win, you get bitched up.
Somebody is highly trained.
Hold at the bottom. Right there. Right there.
Yeah, you should have just left the feet. What's next?
Oh, we had quite a few at the other bit. Probably 30 of us.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Buddies are coming.
Um,
1st of December.
Yeah, I got some
Fighting pistol and all that.
Are you staying here or are you taking off?
I think it's
Yeah, I didn't zero it.
Yeah, but once I got it zeroed in, man, I love it.
Yeah.
Then I can get a surefire light.
Yep.
With a thumb pad.
Yep. You think I have like this?
Hello, sir. What's up, sir?
Is the safety on?
Nope. Who uses it first? He brought it. He's the man. Back years ago in my early 20s, I was we'd use those mittens to weld. Standard welding glove, burn it up. Welding machines must be made in the fucking 30s. The size of a welding machine. Half inch in diameter, 7 inches. We almost needed a stock to start that baby.
Getting a lot dry. I got one. Sounds like a hell of a weld. Hard to move the target.
It took me a year, about 2 years to work out. After that, about 2 years, I'm
Old 6 o'clock.
yeah,
Man, you feel the heat on that son of a bitch.
It did. Now it's just really hot. Well, and then you use wire feed.
Good hold. Stay there.
Dual shield. And that was
Hey, Don.
Impact.
so fun. I got a chance to get into trade.
Are you shooting too? Is there anybody else? Huh?
This thing is the end of the next 5 minutes.
You supposed to be shooting now?
If you got a mag, he's
Jay gave it to me. 5 minutes.
Hey, is Jay? Jay directing on what's going on?
Ever recommend
No.
scouting to anybody? Yeah, they let girls in. They don't even
5 minutes ago, like,
Okay, that's it. That's close enough. You're shooting first.
nothing like
Make sure it's clear.
never recommend it. I mean, if they got a scouting program,
Yeah.
you talking about when he had like 3 minutes? Yeah.
All right. Where's Don? Oh, here. Right here. Come on up.
he handed them out. No shot one.
Wait,
Yeah, I
let's.
was in the line.
Cheers, gonna swap out batteries and then we'll do the headspace. But yeah, let's talk about it.
All right.
So
1,500 rounds deep.
Hey, Dean. Hey,
I don't know what to say about that pin, man. It looks about the same.
It does. It doesn't look like it's moved at all. Getting some discoloration. People are leaving skin and some plastic up there from their gloves and stuff. That's good.
I'm surprised at how well the wood's doing, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'll bet the inside's looking a little bit charred, but outside
Yeah.
should stay pretty fancy.
Looks like we got one little stock break right there.
Oh, yep. Little chip came out.
So, and that stock's getting real loose.
Yeah, we should probably tighten that down a little bit.
I think what you're going to find is that the screws just kind of
It's just egged
wallowed
out in there.
those.
Yeah.
I don't think you can tighten it up much. I mean, we've seen that before. The wood that's used seems just to be a little bit soft. But yep, cracked stock's coming loose. But other than that, I mean, it's no malfunctions. We're what, 1,500 rounds
Yep,
in?
1,500 rounds.
All right, well, let's do the, if you want to do the honors of breaking it down, I'll do the headspace real quick. Make sure we're still good there.
You guys need this? Nope.
Woo! Good whap.
And it closed.
We just failed a no-go gauge, guys.
Okay. So, hey, Carson.
Yes, sir.
How many rounds have been shot now? 1,500?
1,500.
Okay, so we're at 1,500 rounds, probably about what the other rifle had. and it closed on the no-go gauge. So that concludes the shooting portion of this video. We're going to still talk about some stuff and bang on some pins and stuff like that. But there we are. I'd hope for different. I wish for different, and so. But you guys, like I said, I invited Tim here because Tim will report the truth no matter if you think I do or not.
Kudos to you, man, for having us out. I mean,
so we're going to continue talking about this, and we're going to follow up with Century Arms and all that stuff. But here we are at 1,500 rounds, and we have had 2 VSKAs fail the no-go gauge
at 1,500. Yep. So this one seems to be a little worse for the wearer. We saw the stock failure on this one.
Now,
Starting to crack.
On the stock, I've seen stocks in every country I've ever been to, broken stocks.
Well, that's why they laminate them, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, you take a look at any of the military AKs, and they don't use, solid wood. They're going to use a laminate for that very reason, because you need a hard. I mean, it doesn't look like these rifles have a whole lot of recoil, but honestly, that's quite a beating. Especially with that, bolt carrier slamming into that trunnion over and over and over again. That's why you see that split right there. That's just that's that impact, and yeah. But that's not new either. I mean, the RS-47 did the exact same thing. It's well documented.
So where are we at now? We're gonna bang both pins.
Yeah. Let's see what happens.
Well, let's take a look at the wear that we got in here now to see if anything is moving around. If there's a reason why that headspace closed, because we have an idea, a hypothesis about that first one.
Yep.
But let's take a look and see what's going on here.
So as they were shooting, you can go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
As they were shooting, there towards the end, you saw a few guys had trouble pulling it back. And I thought maybe it's getting dry, or maybe it's so hot the breakthrough is melted off, but not the case. The breakthrough is working fine. If there's something that has been a success, it is the breakthrough clean. And so we'll go over here and see what's going on.
Here, go ahead, sir.
Hey guys, so
2 hands, 2 hands and 2 controllers.
The shooting part's over, please.
Really? They made them? Okay. I was gonna say they didn't make them 2 different diameters. Come on.
But I am no longer in need of your trigger fingers.
All right. So
And sincerely, thank you guys
seconds
for helping
wipe off,
out.
actually. Why don't we?
A bunch of shit to do by myself.
Appreciate the invite.
Glad to have you, man. Glad to have you.
And let's just wipe it off a
And
little
those
bit.
you guys that
You
came
okay with the
to
gloves?
Bug Out Weekend, I hope we took April off.
Oh, that's
You guys had a good time.
that's powder blast.
I guess everybody
All right.
just about has asked me if we're going to do it again, so I guess that means we're going to do it again. And look for maybe somewhere New Year's Eve-ish. Usually do something. And what I'm thinking, somebody want to do a class like fighting out of a bug out bag.
You're still rolling over
But
here.
instead of a class, we can just get together as a
So
group
it
of
looks
dudes.
like.
It does look like we got a little bit more on that upper edge on the forward side now.
Yep.
See how this whole part up here is
Yes.
now.
This whole.
Yes, sir.
This whole surface is moving.
So it was just
rolling
limited
it
to here,
over.
and now since it's rounded, maybe it's able to move.
So what's happening, guys, is it's rolling this edge
Do
over.
it for 24 hours.
You can see it
Now, not walking for 24 hours.
rolling that edge over.
Non-permissive environment.
This is
That kind of stuff.
I'm gonna go ahead and say this just isn't the right hardness.
So we'll do something like that probably around the first.
Now they're claiming, I believe this is S7 now, and this is supposed to be S7.
I don't remember the spec.
I think they said the bolt carrier and trunnion. There are 3 major components that were S7, but they're still casting. You can still see the flash marks on it. They're still casting them, so that hasn't changed. But it doesn't look like the wear's changed either. I mean, that's pretty serious peening all the way around.
And it's crazy that it's actually inside the cam that goes in the cam channel there.
I've seen that before, man. I've seen it push this shoulder up. I've seen this. We're still seeing that peening.
Yep.
I mean, there's definitely a ledge there now. The more
Yeah,
this shoots-
we're getting impact. It's definitely smacking into that rear trunnion for sure.
I mean, this still moves freely.
I mean, you
in and
can
out,
see where
but-
the impact is occurring. It's leaving the carbon as it travels backwards. You see how it's got that?
Yep,
It's the
absolutely.
exact same shape as the tip.
But I mean, you can see on the rear end of the bolt stem here, it is really battered.
Best way to introduce
Yep.
them.
It's really battered, and that's going to continue to deform to the point where I believe this will no longer travel freely in the carrier.
Tim, are you sure that's just a wear mark there? Because now it's uneven.
Really? We'll have to
It
take a
looks
look.
like it's got a zigzag to
We'll
it.
take a look at it under the microscope. Let's see if we can get some macro pictures with the camera.
Let me wipe that down really good.
Can we hit with some powder blast?
Man, we probably should.
Shoot it.
You're the older
Woo, sizzle.
She's at.
I used day one.
Well, guys,
I was born, I'm like,
the type of wear we're seeing here, this is the exact same type of wear that we've seen the RS-47.
I don't think millennials like to have gray hair and shit.
The only, I can't say I've seen anything different, to be honest with you. This is the exact same wear I've seen before. That that extractor's getting pretty chewed up too.
Blade.
Oh, knife on me.
Here you go.
Make sure we get some pics. Yeah, I will. The firing pin's also starting to stick. The firing pin no longer travels freely. What, is it cracked?
There's a transition there.
There's a crack. So we got a crack, it looks like, in the front trunnion, guys, right,
Yeah, feel
by
that?
right by the secondary locking line.
Try that. Put
Hey,
it
guys,
on that line.
I'm not
and
trying to
move
be
it
a butthole,
across.
but I want to get some of this too. Can we put both cameras on the same side of the
Yes,
table?
right there, I can definitely feel it. Either it's cutting a trough or there's a crack.
But it extends almost all the way to the chamber now. There's an actual line that I can see all the way to the
I can
chamber,
feel
and
it.
I
It's a
feel you
crack.
actually grabbing it.
It's a crack.
So we noticed that right at the 1,000 round.
1,000 rounds.
And so at 1,500, it's become a little bit more pronounced. Again, we're gonna have to. We're gonna have to look at it a lot closer. But it,
Yeah,
it surely
we'll get
does
some
look like a
detailed
crack.
pictures, guys. I know we're talking to two different cameras here, but it would appear that there is a crack in the trunnion right behind that secondary lug over here on the right-hand side. The crack is running up through the trunnion. We've seen now that more than likely this barrel's moved forward because it's failing a no-go gauge, which is exactly what we've seen on the other one. And we're seeing wear marks all over the place. I mean, this rifle looks like it's had 20,000 rounds put through it. So, more. I mean, I know of an AK-47 that has 50,000 rounds through it that doesn't show that type of wear. So. Let's take some pictures and see what we can come up with this cleaner up. And then let's drive that barrel pin out and see if we can pull the barrel out. I'm curious to what happens if we tap this one.
Well,
I'm gonna see if I can get a picture of
Hey,
it.
can we get one of them AKs from coppercustom.com?
It's really
Shoot
fucking
50,000 rounds.
It's made by Definitive Arms and it's built on a Polish kit. Good luck finding the parts.
would you mind putting some downward pressure on the rear buttstock? for me?
Hold on, before we break anything, hold on. I just want to, before we break anything, I want to get pictures of where it currently stands.
I just want to see the crack you're talking about.
It's on the trunnion on the
I want to see if I
inside.
can get a shot of that on the inside too.
Look right there.
Let's see if I can. I can't tell if that's a gouge, man.
It's hard to tell. It could be. I mean, if at worst case scenario here, it's
It
just saying,
runs the
hey,
full length,
look at this.
Yeah. All right.
Excuse me, Dean.
All right, guys. We got
say
the
you want me to
camera.
hold it?
Jason, you rolling?
Oh, I see.
All right, hold on. Here, I'll put some gloves on because that splinters, man. I don't want you to get cut. Here, I'll do it. So you don't.
Okay.
Nope, that one's much
Okay.
more solid. It only moved about 1/8 of an inch, whereas the other one, yeah,
It's
moved,
moving.
but
It's moving.
it should have definitely not
That,
done
you
that.
should not be able to. It's coming right out.
Yeah. We shouldn't be able to overpower that with.
Wow.
So we're knocking it right out, guys. Let's show the cameras.
Yeah, that's
We can just, with a punch and a hammer, knock that barrel pin right out.
Yep.
So, with it moving out of headspace that quickly at 1,500 rounds, at 5,000 rounds, this thing's going to become a grenade. That pin's walking right out. All right. That's what it is. Picture that too.
I'm gonna go punch that other one out.
Why don't you videotape that too, Jason? He's going to punch that other pin all the way out.
You gonna do it on the barrel?
All right, so using a little bit of science from Atlas, my boys. These guys, did you were like, ah!
More
Didn't
like
even have to choke up on the hammer.
literally.
And so, please explain what's going on.
So cut inside the barrel, there's a barrel pin channel that's cut in there, and then they put an interference fit pin through the barrel and the trunnion to keep the barrel in place to keep the headspace from moving. Typically, that interference fit is so tight that it requires a hydraulic press in order to get that pin to move. And literally, when you break it, it sounds like the press is coming apart. It's like a popping sound. But without even choking up on the hammer and just putting a punch in there, I was just able to tap it completely out.
And then on the other rifle, we put a steel plate on the ground and I whapped it, and we could physically see the barrel move back.
And it was consistent. The wear on that gun and the wear that we have on the gun that we just put through the 1,500 rounds at the same round counts, it was a consistent wear when it lost headspace. So what we were seeing at 1,000 rounds with the gun we tested today is exactly the same wear that we're seeing on the bolt and carrier on the rifle that I had been bringing to classes. So at 1,000 rounds, same linear wear, and now they're both out of headspace.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So again, we will consult with Century Arms, see what's going on, see what they say, see what the prognosis is, see if there are any upgrades or changes planned. I am disappointed by this. I wanted this gun to be the gun. You know, Tim and I talked about it, you know, way early, and I'm glad he came down as impartial as a judge could be of what's going on. And Don, thank you for your expertise, because I don't know what the hell they're talking about. But I'm disappointed. I am optimistic that maybe this will drive improvements.
You'd hope so.
I don't know. But what?
I was just going to say, I want a U.S.-made AK.
Yeah, I do too.
I mean, that's what we're striving for here, guys. It's not like I want Century to fail, not in the slightest. I want them to succeed.
Right.
I want somebody to make an American AK that can beat, a comm block weapon. It's just...
This is James Yeager, Don, and Tim Harmson with Technical Response, reminding you that your responsibility to be ready for the fight never ends.